The Search Podcast USA Edition series is sponsored by Ascen. Ascen is a top employer of record in North America that exclusively helps staffing and recruitment agencies hire contractors compliantly throughout the US and Canada. Ascen's all-in-one white-label platform handles onboarding, timesheets, payroll, benefits, insurance, invoicing, and optional financing so you can grow quickly in the US and Canada. Start growing your staffing agency in the US today with Ascen. Visit us at ascen.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode this week of the Search Podcast. I'm Elliott Manning, the Managing Director of Cayman Recruitment Group. We have a new guest on with me this week who is based in supposed to be sunny Florida, but isn't at the moment, I believe. Who works in a field of recruitment that is absolutely booming right now. The industry itself is just going crazy for, to be in the US market, to operate in this space. But these guys are very established, good reputation, and have grown and done things, really well over the years. But I'll let you take away an introduction, mate.
Thanks, Elliott. So my name's Buddy Arthur. I'm the US Director of Conrad Consulting. I've been in the civil and structural engineering industry now for about 14 years.
Amazing.
9 to 10 of that was actually in the UK, and then I made the big move over to the US with another firm where I was for 3 years, setting up a business there for that firm, and joined Graham at Conrad just under a year ago to lead our US business and try and grow across the US.
Fantastic. I guess like the first question I ask everybody and, always want to understand is, why did you move to the US? Where did that come from for you to think that that was the best way to move forward in your career? And how did you know that it was going to be a lucrative market for you before most others, did at this point?
So I actually moved for a couple of reasons. The professional reason was that I had a couple of friends that moved to the US maybe 5, 6 years ago, maybe a bit longer ago. They told me about the industry. They told me about how recruitment was seen probably a little bit differently than it is in the UK at the moment over here at that time. And UK recruiters could come in, utilize their experience and skills, get bigger fees. The fees are a lot bigger in the US than they are in the UK. But you can really use the skills and the relationship building part of the business in the US to your advantage. So I knew that from a professional reason, it'd be a great idea to come out here. Obviously, the market as well, as you mentioned already, absolutely booming here and has done for a while on the engineering and construction side. And from a personal point of view, I used to come to the US as well, probably the first time was when I was about 7 years old. Love the US, love the people. I'm big into sports, so NFL, NBA, all of those sides of things.
Yeah.
I play a lot of golf, so came to the sunniest place I could to
Yeah.
make sure I could spend time on the golf course as much as possible. So for me, it was a great opportunity to live a bit of a life dream, but also come over and improve and grow professionally.
Yeah. I mean, how did you know at this point that for your career, did you do the US market from the UK a lot? Was that something you were trying to like sort of start off doing before you made that move?
So the firm that I actually joined to move to the US with, that was the first time I even looked at the US market from my industry. But they had established an understanding of the US market. They have many recruiters that work over in different industries that work closely with the industry that I do. So I knew there was business there, and I'd been in that UK market for 9.5 years.
Yeah.
I felt pretty comfortable, but I did think it was the right time to sort of take a leap and maybe take a little bit of a risk as well. From a personal point of view, it was a great time to do that. And yeah, I started working the US market pretty much first couple of months in the UK until I got my visa.
Have you seen a big difference? I know I'm shifting kind of into next gear here, but like, have you seen a big difference in the US recruitment market in your space in 2025 versus how it was in well, however long ago that you moved to the US, 6 years ago.
Yeah, so during coming out of COVID, that was when I started the US market.
Yeah,
So 4.5 years ago, it was very, very busy coming out of COVID, to the point where generating new clients, generating business was actually very easy. Probably a little bit to the detriment of quality in certain areas of the market, and I think that there was a very transactional way you could work and be successful at that time.
yeah,
Now, because the markets are sort of calmed down a bit, it's still very busy. There's still a lot of recruitment going on, but I think clients are valuing that real relationship building side of things at the moment, and
of
that's
course.
where that's what I enjoy doing as well. So I was doing that when I first came over here, and it's actually worked in my favor now that the transactional approach that was working back 4 or 5 years ago isn't as strong and doesn't deliver as much as it used to.
Yeah, fine. And what about the fact? Are you seeing what I'm seeing with more firms opening up more and more each day or week in the US that are coming from the UK or anywhere else?
Yeah, I have friends in the UK that are asking me all the time, is it worth doing? Should I do it?
You're just trying to put them off and be like, nah,
Yeah, I'm like,
stay,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, don't do it. It's
Yeah,
a
stay
waste of
where you
time.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely see many, many firms coming over here. Conrad used to be a competitor of mine in the UK, so that was how I knew the business.
yeah,
And there's many companies that like the idea. Uh, it's not as easy and as financially rewarding straight away as I think a
yeah.
lot of people think it will be. But as time goes on, you can obviously the rewards can be superb, and that's the real attraction over here for sure.
And the engineering space, in terms of what you're, focused on in particular, we know a couple of firms that operate in it. Have you seen since, and this is a bit more like detail oriented, like since Trump came into power, have you seen a lot more investment from the US government in each state to go into these, civil and structural engineering, I suppose market for you to, I suppose, keep developing?
So before Trump came in, the infrastructure bill was signed, and that was a bipartisan agreement. So that's not changed, and that investment is still there, and still progressing. So all the transportation sectors are very busy. Um, the real switch has been away from my understanding, away from renewables, and that side of things into maybe a bit more sort of harder infrastructure. And there's still business there in renewables, but maybe it's a bit quieter, a bit calmer than it used to be. That's not my market, but just from friends I know in the industry. But the build back better is really the ethos in the US, and
Yeah,
the infrastructure here is 100 to 120 years old. There's a lot of infrastructure investment in each state, and that's the real difficulty coming from the UK to the US.
yeah.
You can sort of try and go too wide in what you're trying to do. You really have to niche down and focus
I
in
was
a
going to
certain
ask, like,
area.
how do you, buddy, like, how do you break down your geographical kind of like focus in the US? Like, where do you, where do you know where to kind of put your time and effort into? Because that's again like one of the biggest, like you just said, struggles. Like, just stop spreading yourself too far across the US because you will, it's very difficult to navigate. How do you know where to go? Like, how did you kind of figure that out?
Um, when I first came across it, it took a little bit of working out. But what I did actually find out is that it really doesn't matter where you focus on as long as you really do focus on that area. So for me personally, my geographical area is New York and New Jersey. But my team from the Orlando office, we cover the entire East Coast. So I have someone who focuses on Florida, someone focuses like Mid-Atlantic and
Yeah,
the Carolinas area, someone who assists me in the New York and New Jersey area, and then someone doing the northeastern states like Connecticut,
yeah,
Massachusetts, Rhode Island. And then, as you know, we've got a guy that's opened our Austin office and
yeah,
going to be doing that central section of the US as well. And to be honest with you, I think the focus, how I'm running this and how I'm focusing people is in your geographical area on a certain skill set or two certain skill sets, but doing your time zone from your office location. So
yeah,
the central locations being done from Austin, the east coast being done from here. because being on that same time zone is very, very important. And that was a difficulty I found when I did a little bit of the US from the UK for sure. And I know that people can do it, but working till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night wasn't enjoyable. And that's working East Coast time. So
Yeah.
let alone West Coast.
Yeah, well, this is the challenge that I face every single week and every day,
Yeah.
which I've done long enough now. But look, it comes part and parcel, and it is all worth it, the results in the end, which is what encourages people to keep doing it. But from a starting point, it's sustainable, I think, for a few months, to a year or so. But then being physically on the ground, which goes on to my next point, which I ask everyone very similarly, like, do you get out and about a lot to meet your clients and sit on sites with them and really kind of engage to that relationship that is obviously really important in the States?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of seen as a bit of an old-fashioned way of doing it, going to meet them, obviously with Teams and Zoom and
Yeah,
this side of things. But to be honest with you, people buy from people, and when you can be in the room with someone and they can see you're a real person, you really care about what they're doing, you really want to help the business. That's the game changer. So I often go up to New York. Obviously, we have a lot of clients around Florida as well, and I also assist a lot of my colleagues when they go to their
yeah,
specific geographical areas, and I go with them and utilize my experience to help them
yeah.
with meeting clients and obviously generating business from their offices.
Yeah, look, it's become such a huge factor in, recruiters' growth and development, and to really, I suppose, in my opinion, beat those that are in the UK trying to do the same market, but they can't physically do what you do, which is the difference to a lot of firms in the US and how they're doing, in my opinion, a lot better in most cases to advance. What's the situation with Conrad at the minute? Like, where are you guys up to with your progression? Like, where do you see yourself going in 2026 within the market? And have you got any kind of, strong plans set up already?
Yeah, so we are 7 people now in the US.
Yeah,
As I said, we opened the Austin office just over a month ago. But East Coast and the central areas where we're really going to be growing over the next 12 to 18 months. We're going to be focusing on doubling down in our main skill sets: civil engineering, structural engineering, cross transportation,
yeah,
across the East Coast offices. We're going to grow into that Austin office and try and use the same blueprint to grow in that central area of America, cover more of Texas, up to like Colorado, Denver, that side of things, Chicago, these major cities where we know there's a lot of investment. But we have plans to, I would say, nearly double in numbers by the end of next year. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and
yeah,
as with all recruitment, the ups and downs can change daily, weekly, monthly. But we have a great owner of the business from the UK who's really helpful, who's often out here really giving us that positive attitude and really showing us that he cares about what we're doing over here.
yeah,
And we've got the investment to grow, so hiring good people opportunistically we can. We're very focused on growing our own talent as well. We've got a lot of experience in the business.
yeah,
Not just myself, but there's Danielle in our office who's got over 10 years experience. Simon in Austin, who's got over 10 years experience. Myself, as I mentioned, and obviously Graham's been doing the industry
yeah,
probably longer than most recruiters have been alive, to be honest. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
we've got a lot of great experience that we can help
Yeah,
develop new talent, and that's a real avenue that I enjoy doing as well, is training people. So we invest heavily in juniors and helping them develop.
brilliant. So if anyone is listening to this, which I'd like to hope there is, because we do get lots of, thousands of people that, tune into our podcast. Reach out to these guys if you're in the construction space and civil engineering. You're in the US, contract or perm, and you want to, even if they want, I suppose they want to learn, they can come and reach out to you guys and understand what they could do differently or better. And if they're interested in opportunities, then they can reach out at the same time. I've worked with you guys now since day one,
Yep.
if not before that, as you know, like to kind of assist with, the setup in the States with Graham. And what you guys have achieved is excellent in my opinion. And I always talk about this, and I did a post recently on LinkedIn that firms do struggle to grow in the US, and they struggle to find good talent and 360 talent, the stuff that they expect to kind of, assist them with their growth. But you guys make it very easy. Anyone that's been introduced to the business, they want to work for the business. You guys sell it very, very well. And because of your stable, lean kind of like growth where you are, even 7 people has been a huge achievement in the space of what, a year and a half. But with the plans to grow it out in the right way is what you want to be doing. Is there any
Absolutely.
advice, buddy, to kind of wrap this up that you would suggest to any founder, director, even recruiter looking to get over to the States right now or in the future to do this same market as you, other than to stay off your patch?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was my first answer. So founders, I would say be prepared for the investment side of it.
Yeah,
I think people see the bright lights of the big fees over here and they expect to be able to make profit and financial success very quickly, but the investment you have to do in the US is substantial.
yeah,
And that goes throughout salaries, office space, equipment, facilities, everything you need is expensive. So be prepared for that. For recruiters, it's a great market to be in. If you really enjoy relationship building, getting out and meeting clients, building relationships not just with small and medium-sized businesses, but multi-state, even multinational businesses where you can really influence the hiring process and be an intricate part of their recruitment process, then yeah, do it because it's a
amazing.
great market and it's recruitment. It's hard. It's as hard as it is anywhere in the world. There's the ups and downs. The roller coaster is real, and it doesn't change over here. But the successes you can get from a financial point of view are
Yeah,
substantial as well. So do your research. Make sure you understand the company you're going to join and that it's the environment you want to be a part of. Um, but if you've got the ability to make that move, do it because
yeah.
it's a fantastic place to come.
I think just to touch on that before I kind of close this out, and I've got actually again, I've done a post on this, so it's coincidental that you've mentioned it, but the cost of running a business in the US, especially if you're perm focused, when you get these ups and downs and periods where you might have a month with, 100, 2, 3, half a million in one month, and then the next month, nothing. That is the perm recruitment market. Obviously, a lot of firms are diversifying into contract more now because they need that stability, but that is something that a lot of firms don't realize will and unfortunately is inevitably going to happen. But on the flip side, like you said, that and you don't get away from the challenges in the US, I completely agree. But if you're putting the same amount of work into a placement in the UK for 8 to 10 grand, and you put the same amount of work into this in the US, you're making upwards of $30,000 on average in your market to an extent, maybe more.
Yeah,
Um, that's the big difference here. Like, you're 3, 4 times in your fee element for doing the same amount of work. So that kind of makes it all worthwhile for the ups and downs that you can come up with it.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I would say is that you may put in all that time and effort in the UK, make a placement for 8,000, they start in 3, 4 months' time. You could do that over here and they could start in 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
it's and you get 40K fee or a 30K fee. So
yeah,
it's the turnaround could be quicker. I'll be honest, the engineering side of things, they tend to do more closer to a month
yeah,
notice. So it's not hugely different on that side, but absolutely the rewards, the effort you put in, the time. If you do a good job for people, they do remember as well over here,
absolutely.
and that's candidates and clients. And um, people offer referrals, and if you really help someone, they'll help you. So
Yeah.
it's all about building your brand, building your credibility over here, and the rewards are, as you mentioned, substantial.
Absolutely, absolutely. Buddy, thank you very much for jumping on this. Really
Thank you.
appreciate all the insights. You guys are doing amazing things, as I've mentioned. Look forward to seeing where you guys are going in 2026. I'm sure Graham will call me and tell me, and we'll catch up at some point, if not with you. But look, appreciate all the insights, mate. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll speak again very soon.
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you.